Reimagining Success, episode 189. You're listening to Reimagining Success, the podcast where we help you reimagine your future, designing a life and career beyond the 9 to 5 that allows you the freedom, flexibility and fulfillment that you've been dreaming of. I'm your host, Anna Lundberg. Now, let's get started on those dreams. Hello there. Happy 4th of July to our colleagues over in America. It's a bit of a sad day for us here in England, but nonetheless, I celebrate your independence. And it's not something we learn about at school, you know. So happy July 4th for you guys. I hope you had a wonderful Independence Day weekend, if it was last weekend. And today we're talking about the power of referrals and recommendations. So I get clients coming to me saying, I haven't really done any marketing. I get my clients via, word of mouth, referrals and so on. And to be honest, I've always been a bit like, that's nice. It's a great way to get started, but you need much more proactive marketing to build your brand, to attract clients consistently. Because word of mouth, you don't actually have any control of it, at least at the beginning. Hopefully, if you're doing an amazing job, which I'm sure you are, clients are going off and telling other people and they're referring people, recommending. And if all your clients are coming that way, that's great. But you don't have control over it. So you have to have a huge amount of faith. I think that's where we get into that kind of roller coaster, feast or famine area, because Joe and Jenny and John, they're all J's, might recommend you one week and you get a load of prospects, leads. And then Joe, Jenny and John are off on holiday over the summer and they forget about you and they love you, but right now they're busy. And so no more referrals. And that's quite dangerous. Obviously, you can do a bit of clever planning and road mapping and say, hey, great, I'm busy right now, but I've got space for another client in September. Do you want to join them? And you can do all sorts of smart things there. But, you don't have control over that. However, so I said my perspective has always been this. I've been a little bit like, word of mouth. I'm all about content marketing and building your personal brand. And that's what we've been talking about over the last month or so. That this doesn't mean that word of mouth has no place in your business. It's actually really important. And in fact, I can kind of see, and I need to create a model for this as well. I love a good model, a virtuous circle that, people start by referring you, but referring people to you rather. When they refer them, how can I do this in a grammatically correct way? When people refer other people to you, what are they going to find? If it's literally, you need to talk to this person, it's very sort of old school, you literally pick up the phone and chat with them, that works. If you've got a simple website or something, that can work. I happen to believe that all the content then, as much as I get a lot of referrals and in fact, almost more so than not, it's people from my circle and certainly when you're starting out, that's the case, right? But also as you grow, again, if you're doing a good job, hopefully your clients who know you best because they've seen the value in what you do, they've actually worked with you and they've got the results. So they're likely then to refer you. And the more you work with, the more referrals you get, obviously. But when these referrals come to you, they're new people in your ecosystem. Yes, they've had that recommendation, they've had the introduction from someone else, but if they land on your website and it's, not relevant at all, not compelling, not clear what you do, if they can't even find you online, if you don't have any kind of personal brand, if you don't have testimonials and videos to watch and text to read and resources and so on, it's a harder sell for you. You're really only relying on that recommendation. So people are referring people to you. They then come into your ecosystem. They'll listen to my podcast. Hello, if you're listening. They'll watch my videos. They'll join a workshop. They'll join my email list. Maybe they'll book a call right away. But ideally, I'd love for you to get to know me more based on that amazing recommendation. I'm so grateful. But still, I want you to get to know me because just because I've been a good fit for person so-and-so doesn't mean that I'm a good fit for you. And in fact, that happened a few months ago. Someone was, very enthusiastically referred to me, but she actually had a very different need to what the service I can provide. So that's fine. Again, there's a little bit of, I really want to help everybody. But in fact, a little bit of attachment and understand that's not right. So if I had allowed her, if I had encouraged her to spend more time getting to know me and my offering before getting on the phone with me, that would have given her more value. Maybe she would have bought into my world and my philosophy more, in which case she would have been an easier sell, as it were, or she would have realized, oh no, she's not quite what I'm after. I want something more specific in this particular area. So they've been referred to you, they find your content, they join your ecosystem, and then they work with you. They have an amazing experience working with you, of course. You do the job, you give them more than they asked for, you've over-delivered, they've got the results, they really, seen you walk the talk, they've got everything they wanted from you and more. What happens? Well, they're going to refer people to you. Ta-da, virtuous circle. People you've worked with, people who know you, refer other people into your ecosystem. They find your content, they read, they watch, they listen, they get to know you, they have a call, they work with you, and then they become ambassadors for you, right? So that's the virtuous circle. So these things work hand in hand. Word of mouth with content marketing, I believe, is the most powerful piece. Now, what does that mean concretely that you need to do proactively? The first thing, you need a clear strategy and an elevator pitch to make it easy for people to refer and recommend you. I cannot overstate the importance of this. So again, go back to last month, I was talking about how to stand out in a cluttered market. Might even have a workshop coming up on how to do your own elevator pitch, and that's really powerful too. So watch out for that, look out for that. But the first thing has to be to know what your headline is, what you stand for. And we do actually teach this in the course. I should put that in there as well. So the Outsiders Business Academy, new course, onestepoutside.com/course. You can read all about that. I go through the 5 pillars. And in the 4th pillar, the personal brand pillar, the first step, the first topic is your headline. Then we look at content, credibility and visibility, which we've been talking about a little bit as well the last few weeks and next week. But this piece of being clear on your headline, why is that so important? Well, you need to be able to state confidently on the phone, in person to someone, this is what I do for this type of person. That then allows someone to go, hey, that's me. You can help me, which is great. Or they go, oh, I know someone who. Or when they meet someone who, they can go, oh, you must talk to Anna. This is exactly the thing that she does. She works with you, right? So I love it when I get people who are so specific, and I know niching is that whole, separate, difficult topic and so on. But I can so easily say, hey, they do websites on Squarespace for creative entrepreneurs. Boom, this is who you need to talk to. Or, oh, she comes in and does, diversity presentations for leaders who you need to talk to her. Super, super clear what they do for whom. And that makes it so much easier. A functioning nutritionist who helps people with autoimmune diseases who want to live an adventurous lifestyle. Amazing. I know someone. So if any of those are you, by the way, let me know, because I have someone for you. But, you have to have that clear elevator pitch so that other people can refer and recommend you. And also work with you yourself, of course. The second piece of this is that you need to keep building that online presence so that people will find you credible when they look you up. And not just that, you need to give them a clear journey with next steps. So if they find my website One Step Outside, let's say, if that's what my, colleague or client has given them, they've got the headline there. There's a literally, on my new website now, it says, find your next step. You go through a little quiz, answer 3 questions. That will direct you to, if you want the fast track, you can book a call with me and we can talk about how I can help you. Or if you're wanting just to browse and get the free stuff, there's, a start here page, there's a free resource you can download and so on. So really clear journey for someone who's new into the ecosystem. And that also means that if I chat to someone, in my world especially, because it's sort of something that's so integrated to life, any chat I have is like, oh, I hate my job, or oh, I work late into the evening and I don't have good work-life balance. I don't know what I want to do in my life and so on. It's very easy for me, even in a personal scenario, to be able to go, well, actually, that is what I do. If you'd like to, very soft. Remember last week or a couple of weeks ago, we talked about, do I have to sell? I'm not selling at dinner parties and so on, but I am saying, hey, look, this is what I do. Have a look at onestepoutside.com, or, here's a resource you can take a look at. If it sounds interesting, then, by all means, we can book a call, right? So I'm not coaching without permission, as they say. I'm not being really annoying and selling, but because I have the clarity on what I do, because I have this really clear journey now for people, these resources available, I can very easily point people in that direction and they can come in if they want to. And then finally, referrals are wunderbar, wonderful, but you want to manage them more systematically. You want them to become ambassadors, evangelists. And these are, past clients, current clients, also just big fans in your group. I've got people who've never worked with me in my Facebook group, who follow me on Instagram, and thanks to you if you're listening to the podcast, who have been amazing at bringing people into my community, referring people, recommending. And maybe they're not ready to work with me, maybe they don't even want to, maybe they don't need to, but they can see the power of the message and they're pushing my book. They're pushing, they're becoming almost sales consultants, salespeople for me, which is amazing. Of course, other people selling you is so much more powerful than you trying to sell yourself. So how can you manage that? In my community, if somebody refers someone who then becomes a client, they get something. So, for example, it could be a one-to-one coaching call. It could be another month free of Accelerator membership, something like that, right? So, as far as people don't do this, I think, for incentives. With my personal trainer, by the way, with Hannah, I recently got a lovely little voucher from her, very generous, for John Lewis, because I referred someone who chose to work with her. Now, I didn't refer because I wanted the voucher, but it's a very nice little thing. And obviously I'll certainly perk my ears up and be open to recommending again, because it was a very generous, welcome gift for me. So have a clear strategy and elevator pitch, make it really easy for people to refer and recommend you. Keep building your online presence so that people will find you credible when they look you up. Have a really clear journey with next steps, and find a way to manage referrals systematically. Meaning, when you finished working with a client, you can always go, hey, can you give me feedback? Do you know someone else who could benefit? Obviously, if you're organising an event, hey, do you guys know anyone, my Facebook group who could join? Who do you know? Can you share, etc.? So remember the virtuous circle. People refer people to you. Why is that so hard for me to say? They find your content, they work with you, they have an amazing experience, and then they refer other people to you. That's the virtuous circle. So yes, I will come out and say that my previous skepticism of word of mouth is no more, because it's not just useful at the beginning of a business. I really think it's ongoing useful, right? And you shouldn't poo-poo it. In fact, if you're listening, one of my clients was a bit like, oh, I'm only getting people from my, from my existing network. That's great. That's amazing. Especially if you have a big network. That's how it starts. And then that's going to sort of spiral out, not spiral out of control, but spiral out in a very manageable, strategic, systematic way, and only get more people, right? And it'll sweep up more people who come in, and then you'll have more ambassadors for your brand and business. So referrals, recommendations, super powerful. You want to nurture them, you want to encourage them, you want to manage them systematically with incentives, with kind of an offboarding process where you're asking systematically clients that you're working with, that you have worked with, for recommendations, for referrals, for testimonials as well, because that works as well. And then all the other stuff that we talk about, the elevator pitch, the headline, the content and so on, is super critical still. So if you're relying on word of mouth, congratulations, that's amazing. But I hope I've given you some tips. I hope you'll listen to the tips I've given you and take action on them, today, on how you can actually put that sort of on steroids, manage that and create that virtuous circle where you've got the word of mouth, the credible content, and the amazing clients working with you. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next week.
Are you ready to build and scale your business to achieve everything you dreamed of when you started, without sacrificing your personal life and your sanity to do so? The truth is that escaping the 9-to-5 is not just about saying, I quit, to your boss, or putting up a website and ordering a set of business cards. A sustainable escape requires you to design and build a viable business that consistently brings in income and that fits in around the other priorities in your life. Join us in the Outsiders Business Accelerator to get ongoing coaching, training, and mentoring to help you create a long-term brand and business that works for you. Read more and apply at onestepoutside.com/accelerate. That's onestepoutside.com/accelerate.